Hey gang, Jim Spellos here. Welcome to Minute Tech, and for today we're going to talk, what a surprise, Excel. Got three things to show you, three functions that can all work together. Now typically when we talk about a function, we're looking at something that can accomplish a task. And the task we want to accomplish today is, if you can take a look at the sheet here, we want to pull the last name out of the full name column. Now, if you've been with me before and you've taken my courses, you know that there is a great tool, the text to columns tool, that can do that with some limitations. I want to show you another cool technique that actually will teach you at the same time three different formulas that you may never have used before. Maybe you have, and if not, these are all good ones, and we'll see how they work and how they work together. So the first of the formulas is the right formula. And what we're going to do right now is sort of unhide a little this to see what this formula is going to look like. So it says equal right paren a2 comma 6. Well, what does that mean? Okay, so let's just test it out here. I'm going to hit equal right, put the parentheses in, and you'll see Excel tells us what we want to use in terms of information. So the first thing it's asking for is, where's the text? Well, it's in A2. That's my name. We're only going to do this once, by the way, because we'll use the pull handle to be able to get everything pulled down into the entire column. When we hit comma, then we get the ability to look at this. How many characters from the right do we want to start this at? Now, as you can see, I have it set up at 6, which would be, if we look at my last name, starting from the back end, S-O-L-L-E-P. That's weird, but I guess that would be correct, because all that's going to show is my name starting there. So again, let's take a look. If I wanted the entire name, I can go equal right, and then I can say, I got to spell it correctly, right, A2, comma 7. And by doing that, that gets the name. Now that would be cool if everyone's last name was the same. They're not. And so we're going to have to figure out how we can then sort of coordinate that. But before we do, a couple of things to note: that since there is a right, then you would think there is a left. And left allows us to start pulling stuff from the same column. And let's say I want to go A2 and I want to go 5. What's that going to bring in there? Yeah, I heard you say it. It's going to put in there James. Because what that is saying here is I want to take whatever in A2, beginning on the leftmost space, and move down for 5 characters. And just to really confuse you, and we're not going to go into this at all, there also is a mid function that can pull things from the middle of the string. We'll leave that to another video. So, number one, we know how the right function works. Next up, the length formula. And this is a pure number formula. What I mean by that is what this is going to return. The result of this is going to be the number of characters, or in fact, how long the characters in this cell are. So if you do some counting, my name is 12 characters. There's a space in there. So A2 should give us the answer of 13. And as you see, I've pulled it down for the other people in our list. And we all have various name lengths, which makes sense. So why is this important to pull out the last name? Well, if we find the space, we can then do a little bit of math. What do you mean by that? Well, here comes the third formula, the find formula. And this one's pretty cool. We're going to type in equal find, as you see it above. And then the first thing it's going to ask us is, what text do we want to find? Now, in the case of what's in line 2, I want to find that blank space. But let's say what I want to find is the letter E. So I can put E in quotes, and then within text, that would be A2. And then, as you see the next argument, and yes, those are all called arguments, get over it. I know it doesn't make sense, but anytime you see these additional components, that's what Excel calls them, so never mind. Okay, so start number. Where do we want to start searching for it? By default, it starts at the first string, but you can get really creative with this. So if I said, okay, find E in A2, don't put that last comma there, close the parentheses, hit enter, and what it's saying is, for the 4th character of column cell A2, J-A-M-E, is the first indication of that letter E. So in this case, in F2, find blank, quote, quote, with nothing in there other than a space, it's going to tell us where that space is. And that is 6 characters in. So think about this. The length is 13 characters. That space before my last name is 6 characters, which means if we put it all together, it should pull out the whole name. And it is a doozy of a formula, so we're going to go over this. But as you can see right here, what we have done is a very straightforward combination. Lots of parentheses in there. We're calling this nesting a formula, but it really does work very well. So the right, go to A2, and then instead of, let's take a look at it here so we can see it even better. Instead of here, that right A2 is calling for a number, it's calling for the length of A2, which we've already put together. We didn't actually refer to this column, but we just did the formula. So this is saying that start on the right, the far right, 13 characters is the length, and find where that space is. Well, that would be 6 characters over, which means if you've stayed with me on this one, it will pull just the last name. Well, not really just the last name, as you'll see when we get down to the 4th line. It's going to pull everything out from that first space. Now, if you remember, when we deal with text to columns, it will also have any additional thing, middle name and junior, senior, the third. It's going to have all of that in the column and add more and more to it. This is a slightly different way of handling this, but what we have here in a very simple approach, I hope it's simple for you. It actually takes a while for these nests to really come together, but we're telling it the right formula is what we want to use. We want to determine the length, and we want to find where that space is, and then that combo platter, that result, works well. Can you use these independently? Absolutely. Can you use find on its own to find a string of text? Most certainly can. Find's a really powerful database tool. But in this context, for what we wanted to talk about, 3 functions, right, find, and length, working together in a formula like this will allow you to extract things based on a particular character that's in there. Hope it's useful for you. Hope you're really enjoying these sort of tools. And most importantly, hope you're staying safe and enjoying their lead up to this wonderful holiday season. Happy Hanukkah to those celebrating that, and the Merry Happy Christmas coming down the pike. So enjoy. I'll do another one next week before Christmas Day, and see you soon. Stay safe. Bye.